Hello, hello. I'm Dr. Kathryn Bingham, here to share a couple of quick takeaways from the book Tiny Habits by author B.J. Fogg. If you want to make big change, you can be incredibly successful when you start tiny. To understand how this works, let's begin with Fogg's behavior model. So the model tells us that a behavior, one we want, or even one we don't want, will happen when the right motivation and ability are present and a prompt occurs. So behavior equals motivation and ability when a prompt occurs. They all have to occur together. As an example, if we want to be a person who works out each morning, that's our motivation, and our running shoes are next to the bed, that's the ability. We're able to put them on right away. At the time when we wake up, that's our prompt. We put the shoes on. That's the behavior that we desire. So let's visualize this model. First, imagine two dimensions. On the left, we have motivation, right? And so that ranges from high, we really want to do that behavior, something we want to have happen, to low, something we have zero desire for. Next, we have our level of ability. The behavior can be really easy to do or very difficult, or some point in between. Imagine this curved line on our diagram as a line of action. Think of this as our prompt that triggers the behavior. Our desired behavior will only occur when both our intersection of motivation and ability are above the line. So take a look at the following points and imagine a scenario where a disaster has occurred and we see either through an email or on an advertisement or a post in social media, a prompt for us to donate. Now, if our desired behavior, right, on A, donating, is something we really want to do, our motivation is high, but it's too hard for us to accomplish. Maybe it's because we don't have the funds to donate, or maybe it's because the Red Cross hasn't made it easy for us to support them. We're not going to, when we see that email or post or commercial, actually do what they would like us to do, and that's give money. On the other hand, look down here at item C. Maybe they've actually put a QR code up on the television screen or in their post, or they've added a form to make it really easy, or there's a link to an app that just makes it one step, one click to donate. Then it doesn't require a whole lot of motivation. We see the prompt, it's easy for us to do. If, however, we don't want to do it, maybe Red Cross isn't our passion for giving, but we prefer to give to St. Jude's Children's Hospital or something else, we still will not do it. It's only when both things occur above the line that we can get to any of these B's, right? The B's are the behavior when motivation and ability are above that line of action. And that prompt, in the case of the Red Cross, for example, seeing that call to action prompts us to respond and give. Now, let's go back to the running shoes example. Notice here, when we have an A and a B are close together, Imagine we just watched the movie Brittany Runs a Marathon and we think, yes, that's what we want. We really want to enter and finish a marathon. For most of us, though, a marathon is hard, like really hard. And on our model, this is our point A. We might have high motivation, but it's hard to do. Not even the movie's excitement will prompt us to go out and run a marathon today. But look what happens when we make that action easier to do. We shift it over. We make it a half marathon or a 10K or a 5K, right? When we make it incrementally easier, then we are much more likely to perform the behavior. It's a lot within our ability to act. And notice that if we make it super easy, like 1 mile, all right, 1 mile compared to a marathon is easy. We need much less motivation to perform that behavior. Now, let's say we're not a runner, but we want to get fit. It's a big change for us, and we have some other habits to overcome. So how can we start to build success? We can make our action super tiny. Putting on our running shoes is tiny down here. It's the very first step in our goal to embrace fitness in our lives. While there's a lot more to tiny habits, let's look at one more takeaway from Fogg's model. And that's adding shine. Shine is a celebration. So if we think of the ABCs or the elements that make up tiny habits, it begins with some kind of anchor, an existing routine. Existing routines might be brushing our teeth or having that first cup of coffee in the morning. Or it could be an event that happens. The phone rings or an email hits. These are what Fogg terms an anchor moment, and that prompts the tiny behavior that we'd like to have. The behavior is whatever that most simple act or first step to getting where we'd like to go is. And then the secret sauce is a celebration, and it's just like the act, very tiny. We have that small thought or word or physical action, a fist pump, a phrase that creates positive emotions within us. And we take these 3 things in sequence. Fogg suggests creating a recipe that says, after I fill in the blank, I will do the tiny habit, fill in the blank, whatever that is, and then the celebrate item, fill in the blank. So going back to the running shoes example, after I wake up, I will put on my running shoes and say, ready to go. This element of shine, behavioral science tells us, is really essential to our success. So very quickly to summarize, we've learned that behavior will happen when we have the right levels of motivation and ability at the time of a prompt. Making it tiny helps us to succeed, and adding the shine, that celebration that takes place after the prompt, the anchor that triggers our behavior, and then we celebrate, helps us to ensure ongoing success. So start your tiny habits journey by picking up the book by BJ Fogg at any of your favorite retailers or online stores, and go forth and do great things.